Hurricane Kajiki, the fifth storm of the season, unleashed torrential rains that brought Vietnam's political capital to a standstill. The entire city was swallowed by floodwaters. According to Vietnam's Northern Hydrometeorological Center, from the night of August 25th through the early morning of the 26th, Hanoi was battered by heavy downpours and thunderstorms triggered by Kajiki. The relentless overnight rain submerged large parts of the city. Some streets were so deeply flooded that water nearly reached the tops of car tires. Vehicles struggled through rising waters. Motorbikes were forced onto sidewalks to escape submerged roads, while countless engines stalled, leaving residents to push their bikes through murky currents. Cars too broke down mid-traffic, abandoned in the chaos of rush-hour gridlock. The flooding struck precisely during the morning commute, when tens of thousands rushed to work, making an already paralyzed system even worse. Some riders tried to push through, but their engines failed, forcing them to wade in waist-high water as the city ground to a halt. A shocking scene was caught on camera during the morning commute. As one resident drove through a busy intersection, disaster struck without warning. A massive centuries-old tree suddenly ripped from its roots and came crashing down across the roadway. A giant branch smashed a white car in front, crushing its roof. But it didn't stop there. The falling trunk struck another roadside tree, sending heavy branches crashing directly onto the driver's own vehicle. The incident happened so fast that nearby pedestrians screamed in fear, stunned by the chaos. Miraculously, despite the destruction, no lives were lost. Rainfall in some areas reached nearly 6 inches. The downpour left large sections of the city under deep water. In several districts, powerful torrents surged downhill into low-lying neighborhoods, making movement nearly impossible. In the middle of the chaos, one remarkable moment stood out. A truck driver spotted rushing floodwaters sweeping toward pedestrians. Without hesitation, he steered his vehicle across the road, using the truck itself as a barrier. His quick action slowed the current, creating a shield that allowed people to cross the dangerous zone safely.
Anh Phát Tài nhìn thấy cái điều đó, nước rất chảy xiết nguy hiểm thì anh Phát Tài phải chặn dòng nước lại cho nó giảm áp lực dòng nước. Đó, cho nó giảm dòng chảy của dòng nước để bà con lưu thông qua cho nó dễ dàng hơn. Đó thì cũng là rất là cảm ơn những cái chân tình của là những anh Phát Tài nha, Phát Tài xe tải.
In some spots, floodwaters rose close to 3 feet deep. While most people struggled to wade through the murky streets, this man decided to take a different approach. Instead of fighting the current, he treated the flood as his own personal training ground, polishing up his swimming skills, perhaps in preparation for the next village championship, whenever that might be held. Let's just hope his impromptu practice session doesn't earn him more than a medal, like a serious skin infection from that water. In sharp contrast to the would-be swimmer, these two young women chose a very different survival skill, clinging to the walls like Spider-Man as they made their way across the flooded street. As Archimedes once said, "Give me a place to stand, and I will move the earth." These women cleverly adapted the idea, finding their own footholds to lift themselves well above the dirty floodwaters.
Hôm nay Hà Nội ngập lụt quá nên là em không chạy Grab bike nữa, em chuyển qua Grab xuồng, vừa tiết kiệm xăng, vừa không ô nhiễm môi trường. Anh chị nào có đi thì alo em qua đón nha.
In moments like this, you might wonder, what would an economist do? As the old saying goes, in misfortune, there's opportunity. In hardship, There's ingenuity. Some quick-thinking locals turned crisis into commerce, offering makeshift transport services across flooded streets, ferrying stranded motorbikes, women and children to safety. On-the-spot surveys found that each ride, whether by small boat or a hand-pulled cart, cost between 70,000 and 100,000 Vietnamese dong, roughly $3 to $4 US.
Ông trời ơi, sao mà ông mưa lạnh thế?